Good evening. I call to order this regular meeting of the Verona Township Council for Monday, the 23rd of March, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act compliance statement?
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied with respect to this meeting of the Township Council. Specifically, the time and date were included in the publication of the annual meeting notice. The public notice and meeting agenda was posted on the municipal bulletin board at least 48 hours preceding the start time of this meeting. The agenda documents can be viewed online at veronanj.org/council meetings. Please take notice that pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 2025, Chapter 72, the complete text of each legal notice of the Township of Verona, including all public entities under the authority of the Township, may be obtained or viewed by the public on our official state-registered webpage, veronanj.org/legal public notices. A public comment period will be held in the order it's listed on the meeting agenda, and instructions on how to comment will be provided at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Would you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Holland?
Here.
Councilwoman McGrath?
Here.
Councilman Roman?
Here.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy?
Present.
Mayor Tamburo?
Here.
Mayor also present tonight is Township Attorney Brian Aloya, Township Manager Kevin O'Sullivan, Deputy Township Manager Michael Cross, myself, Municipal Clerk Jennifer Kiernan.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's nice to have so many extra pledge voices in the gallery today. I think our basketball players and me are probably the only people that do the Pledge of Allegiance twice in a day. We do this, but thank you for that. Short mayor's report this evening. The Historic Preservation Commission met last week, and they are moving along with some initiatives and will be coming forth to make some recommendations to the council on various items. We'll be looping in some additional support for them. On Thursday, the planning board will be having its first hearing on the plans for 383 Bloomfield Avenue. So anybody interested in that property should tune into the planning board. Will visit the planning board or watch the meeting online after. Last week, I had an extensive meeting with our township manager and deputy manager regarding the budget. So I just wanted to thank them for, number one, getting home a lot later than they probably wanted to that day. But at the same point, hearing out a number of suggestions for how we can deal with ongoing operating expenses, keep our tax increases low, really plan for the future as far as some of these large scale operating expenses and capital expenses as well. Some really rich conversations about that, and I appreciate their consideration of my comments, and know some of that was reflected, and we'll talk more when we get to the budget. But really just want to give you guys my heartfelt thanks for your attention and all the time that you offered to me on that. Finally, before we get into Mr. Coltre and our girls, our Township Construction Code official, Tom Jacobson, is retiring after 50 years of service. We'll be recognizing Mr. Jacobson in another meeting with a proclamation. But as Mayor of Verona, I am proclaiming Wednesday, the 25th of March, 2026, is Thomas Jacobson Day in the Township of Verona to coincide with his celebration, the Township's celebration of his retirement. So we'll be sending out a notification to our staff. But congratulations, Tom. Thank you for everything you did. And I hope that everybody joins me in celebrating Tom Jacobson Day on Wednesday. We'll find out his favorite color and wear that. We'll have our team work on that. All right. And at this point, I'll call it Mr. Coltre, our county liaison, to give his report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I usually don't have this fine group in front of me. They usually go first, but I got the spot tonight. It's great. We're going to talk about cherry blossoms in Branchbrook Park and throughout the county. Starting April 4th, there's a cherry blossom bike run in the Oval in the North Division. Then we're going to the Cherry Blossom 10K run in Cherry Blossom Welcome Center. That's in the Northern Division also. Saturday, April 18th, kids 1 mile run and family day at the Prudential Concert Center. And please join us all. It's a great day. And then Sunday, April 19th is Bloom Fest, and that's also in the Northern Division. I did give the handouts to the clerk. I also have another date. There's Earth Day at the Environmental Center on Eagle Rock Avenue from 11 to 3, and it's free that day, and please come and join us. Anything from the council or mayor?
Any questions for Mr. Coltrane?
We are working on things in the park, so they're moving forward.
The birds that I've seen have been mostly alive in the
Yes.
park now. In my
Yes,
recent
they are.
walks.
Yeah.
Councilwoman McGrath?
Yes, I just want to thank the county. There was a couple of trees that fell over on the rail trail, but they were handled very promptly by the Parks Department, led by our own Kate Hartwick. And so I just want to send appreciation to the county on that. And I did get a chance to go to the press conference announcing the Cherry Blossom Festival and all the activities. And the Cherry Blossom Welcome Center is really gorgeous. So if anyone has never been there, I encourage you to go join the Cherry Blossom Festival. And it really is a fabulous facility and a great place to park and enjoy a beautiful walk with these amazing cherry blossoms.
I grew up about a block away from there, on the same block that Mr. Elijah, our chief of staff and the county executive, in the same neighborhood. It is awesome when they come out. You come out, as long as we don't get days like today, it'll be wonderful. Anything else?
There are more cherry blossoms in Newark than Washington, D.C., right?
Yes, there's over 5,000.
So there we
So
go.
it's a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Coltrane.
Thank you.
All right. And now it's my pleasure to recognize our fifth grade suburban girls basketball team, who on February 21st, 2026, defeated Nutley 33-13 in the Suburban Essex Travel League Championship game. This win capped a 21 win and 0 loss undefeated season for Verona, who played against Nutley, Bloomfield, Milburn, Livingston, Cedar Grove, West Essex, and Caldwell. So on behalf of the Township of Verona, thank you for beating Cedar Grove. Especially the team's defense was solid throughout the season, smothering opponents with ball pressure. Defensive standouts included Taylor Sheehan, Shane Brewer, and Aria Casano. As point guard, Julia Pissarro was a steady presence running the team's offense. On the floor, Leanne Selby positioned herself strategically to help the defense and got quite a few tie-ups and steals. Spectators erupted after Elizabeth Kaufman's clutch free throw. I loved that, by the way. I watched that. Ava Droppy and Molly Godfrey's speed and relentlessness contributed to wearing down Nutley as well. Mairead Quinn had 20 points and 16 rebounds, and Parker Quick scored 6 critical points, made key passes, which made for easy baskets for Verona. The fifth grade girls suburban basketball team was coached by Kieran Quinn, Jen Quinn, Dave Armando, and Kieran Quinn. It should be noted that head coach Kieran Quinn attended Post University on a full basketball scholarship and played basketball for Ireland at several levels. Assistant coach Jen Quinn played Division I basketball for Colgate, and assistant coach Dave Armando played basketball for Columbia. We see a little bit of a theme here. And assistant coach Kieran Quinn, who is the son of Jen and Kieran and brother of Mairead, is in his junior year at Bergen Catholic and brought a lot of pride to the Bergen Catholic Crusaders basketball team this year, who beat St. Peter's Prep 56-52 in overtime, clinching back-to-back state championship titles. So what a group of not only our athletes, but also the coaches for being so generous with your time and mentoring these girls and providing an opportunity really to bring pride to Verona, but also teach sportsmanship and all the values that come with that, and teaching how important it is to represent not only yourself but entire community. So congratulations. Deputy Mayor McAvoy and I had the opportunity to attend the game, and it was really enjoyable. It was a pleasure to watch. So it's really a joy to have all of you here tonight. And we're going to call up all the players. But before we do that, players, I would love you to give a round of applause to your parents who have supported you in this journey. That's huge. Okay. They're sitting in the sidelines, but they are, I'm sure you can understand, they are feeling every basket and every rebound. They're right there with you. So parents, thank you for really showing your heart for these girls and being such a great part of the community as well. So we're going to go down. We have some certificates for you. Deputy Mayor McAvoy is going to come down and help me present these. We're going to hand you your certificate after we call your name, but please, we're going to call your names kind of in the middle and just step back. We're going to keep everybody up for photographs. Okay, so do one at a time and do that. So boss gets that. All right, number 1, Leanne Selby. Number 2, Julia Passero. Number 4, Ava Troppi. Number 6, Elizabeth Kaufman. Number 7, Mairead Quinn. Number 10, Shane Brewer. Number 13, Parker Quick. Number 15, Taylor Sheehan. Number 19, Molly Godfrey. And number 21, Aria Casano. And our head coach, Kieran Quinn. Make sure you're in the front of the picture, okay? Dave Armando. Dave's not here. All right. Assistant coach, Jen Quinn.
Thank you.
And assistant coach, Kieran Quinn. If the council wants to come join us. And as the council's coming down, our Director of Community Services, Mrs. Prisco, has something to share with our team. Mrs. Prisco.
Yeah, girls.
Scoot in here.
Yes.
Here, what do you guys hold? Mrs. Prisco, get in this picture. Everybody in?
What do?
Stay, girls. Everyone.
Stay undefeated.
All right. We're going to get this guy right up on the field. Ball is Let's go take that back.
Not related.
Congratulations. If you guys want to stay in the meeting and learn about the budget and the Zoom, you're welcome. All right. Take care.
Thanks so much, guys. Nice job, guys. Thank you. Oh, tell me about it. Bye, guys. Until next year.
It was not something we said.
How you doing, Jared? Good. How are you doing? Long time.
All right, we'll have Jan. Jan will stay and be the gallery. Jan, there's a nice front row seat for you here. All right. We are moving on now to the Township Manager's Report. Mr. O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go through the highlights of some of the projects that we have ongoing. Our primary clarifier pump station project is substantially complete. The pump station is up and running. There are some SCADA upgrades that are ongoing and will need to move forward. It's a slight expansion from the original scope. We had some failures, some computer equipment during the project. So we'll have a slight change order increase at the next council meeting for consideration by the council. Our Fairview Avenue well project, we are anticipating material deliveries and mobilization currently the week of April 20th. So we'll be lining up neighborhood and outreach meetings leading into that project. Our Claridge Drive pump station project continues to move forward. We have substantially completed all of the foundational pours for the building. It is expected, the building is expected to be delivered the week of April 13th, and then it will be time for installation and connection of all the water utilities and the pumps on the interior of the building at that point. With stormwater items, our Peckman River bank stabilization project is it's nearly substantially complete. We do have some additional shrub plantings that are scheduled in the coming 1 to 2 weeks. And there is a native seed mixture that's going to be spread along the banks in early April. And then final restoration will lead to close out of that project. Additionally, the shared service application for the DCA LEAP program for the shared service for a jetter vacuum truck is being submitted to the state. We did have coinciding resolutions from Cedar Grove, Woodland Park, and Little Falls who are interested in that shared service as well. Linden Avenue construction is currently underway. We are moving forward with the process that was discussed. Sidewalks are being pulled and the trees are being assessed on a daily basis by township personnel, the township arborist, and the Shade Tree Commission. And decisions are being made based upon the conditions of the trees and the impacted roots on all of those trees. There is a lot of work that's been going on, and it will remain a pretty active roadway and construction project for the next several weeks. Everett Field, we've had some progress finally back on that project as well. The site has largely thawed. There's been good progress on the concrete work. The sidewalk and curbing layout is nearly complete. Playground equipment installation has started, and that project is moving along finally now that we've broken through and thawed through winter. Additionally, we have been sitting down with Strands Engineering, who's been moving through our Bloomfield Avenue streetscape project. They will be looking to schedule meetings in small groups with the council based on progress, just to provide a checkpoint on where the design is headed and to get some preliminary discussion points prior to a public presentation. That'll be scheduled probably within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I'll look to schedule that with the council members on an individual basis moving forward. And then the last item that I'll address is a number of the facility upgrades. Our roof project, we're getting ready to close that out. The inspection for the roof warranty is scheduled for tomorrow, actually. Our town hall windows and repointing project, the new mason has now mobilized to the site, so they should be wrapping that project up within the next several weeks. And then there's going to be some repairs to the town hall front steps and some masonry work at the DPW garage as well, now that we've completed the roof repairs. That completes my report. aside from the budgetary items, which we'll discuss next, unless there's any questions from the council on the items I reported on or in my report.
Any questions for Mr. O'Sullivan? Hearing none?
Then at this point, I'll ask if our CFO can come up just to give a brief summary on the changes to the budget. Again, the one thing I'll highlight is the budget tonight is for the operating budget. There are still some reviewing items and some amendments that we'll need to make through the capital budget. So at this point for tonight, the council should just be aware that they're voting on the operating budget. The capital budget will be presented for introduction in May and for adoption in June. But again, it'll be subject to ongoing review with each of the departments to see if there's any fine tuning or any further savings of that capital budget.
Good evening.
Ms. Mascara,
Nice
welcome.
to see you. It's kind of lonely out here now. As you know, we've reduced the 2026 budget down from 5.76% to 2.84%. Those changes included an additional $130,000 in surplus being used, $200,000 being moved from current to water and sewer. An employee budgeted in one of our departments has been cut, and we've worked through water and sewer as well in those changes. So before you is the 2026 budget. You also have the cap index in front of you, which I believe has to be adopted or introduced first. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct
that's the
order
ordinance.
of
Right.
business.
I just want to clarify one thing, Ms. Mascara. You said
Yes.
that an employee was cut. No active employee was cut. It
Correct.
was
Yes.
there was a
Potential.
proposal to add an employee in buildings and grounds halfway through the year, which has been deferred until next year.
Correct.
And that $200,000 in that move to current account to water and sewer was to pay for the health premiums of water and sewer employees, which is where that should be anyway.
Correct.
But it had not been reflected in there in the past. So just want to clarify that's what those things were for the public's edification. Councilman McGrath?
Thank you. So, we've been pretty steady on using $4 million in fund balance over the last few years. So this is a change to our current practice. Normally we regenerate $4 million and then we spend the $4 million in the fund balance to help reduce the tax burden on the residents. So can the administration kind of go through the rationale and the implications of increasing that by $135,000 this year in order to reduce the tax increase?
Sure. So the last few years, as you stated, we've been using about $4 million. I think 3 or 4 years ago, we were at $3,650,000, which was increased a couple years ago to $4 million. The rationale behind it is we have been pretty much bringing in the same about the same amount of revenue, about $4 million. So using $4 million and in our budget every year, and then bringing in $4 million is regenerating surplus. If that changes, then obviously we need to increase our revenues in order to continuously have surplus for future years.
So, we're going a little bit more aggressively on using surplus this year. Is it the administration's intent that we're going to find a way of raising more revenue this year to regenerate that? Or is this going to be like dipping into fund balance and going more in the negative direction long term?
The target would be to pursue the revenues to maintain a balance on that surplus. Again, we would have to reevaluate it at the end of this year. If we fall short of the amount of surplus we're relying upon the next year's budget, we would certainly have to pull back on the amount that we're relying on for surplus. But the intention would be to pursue revenues a little bit more strongly. And there have been some revenue, some fee adjustments that have been adopted by the council recently. So it's a balance and a blend of assuming some of the increased fees over the past 12 months, and also pursuing revenues moving forward, and then a reevaluation at the end of the budget year to see if we overprojected or if we are hitting the right target.
So before we, if we do successfully introduce tonight, there's a 30-day period. I would love a summary from the administration on what are the revenue opportunities that you'll be pursuing over the year that you're going to be looking for the council to get buy-in on. And I do agree, we did just pass a few small things, but what are those more significant opportunities? And I've been big on revenue generation over the last few years. So I think we need to get really serious about, doing that, because this dipping into fund balance for me is a temporary thing. It can't be sustained. Thank you.
Other comments? Okay. At this time, I will hear a motion on ordinance number, I'm sorry, actually, before we do that, Madam Clerk, would you please read the title of ordinance E1A into the record?
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 484-45.14.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will somebody move the ordinance?
So moved.
Motion is made by
Second.
Deputy Mayor. The second is by Councilwoman McGrath. This time, is there any council discussion on just the cap ordinance? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Holland?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath?
Yes.
Councilman Roman?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy?
Yes.
Mayor Tamboro?
Yes.
Mayor, E1 will be numbered 2026-14. It will be posted on the legal notice website, and a public hearing will be heard on April 6th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I'll hear a motion on resolution E1B, the introduction of the municipal budget.
So moved.
Motion is made by Councilman Roman. Is there a second? I'll second that. At this time, I will open for public comment. Actually, I'm sorry, we do that at the next meeting. So any council discussion on the budget introduction. I will just say about our discussion, I think moving those funds to offset the tax increase and was helpful, and looking at some of these positions was also helpful. I know people are hurting right now with having significant inflation over the last 6 years. And some people, especially our older American population, Verona, are starting to get priced out. So we need to do whatever we can to keep those increases down. And I think we did what we can. And I think that in future years, we're going to have to do more. That's one of the conversations that I had with Dutch administration, was looking at some of the big cost drivers and seeing how we can plan using some creative ways to incentivize some lower expense in there. And I think we keep going with that. And I noticed that the administration's already scheduled some meetings based on the report on some of these items with our experts and advisors. So I think that's really helpful. And I look forward to sharing my experience in health benefits and collective bargaining and all of that to support those efforts, because now is the time, I think, that everybody can work together to make some savings that'll really work, hopefully, for all involved. So our residents, our staff, our operations. So I thank you for looking at those items and for your expertise and for being willing to make changes, and which is always helpful. Councilman Roman?
Just also wanted to say thank you. I had an extensive discussion with our CFO, Township Manager, and Deputy Township Manager about all aspects of the budget. So I just wanted to say thank you for spending the time going over things with me, and for the efforts in trying to bring down the tax rate increase. I share the mayor's concerns about the fiscal realities that everybody is facing. You know, we talk about affordability and the cost of housing. This is a big chunk of the cost of housing. So we here in Verona are, very cautious with expenses, and we do the best that we can to maintain a stable tax rate. Inflation hits us too. All the costs of goods and services that we buy go up, and our CFO spends a lot of time. I know that she is very particular about expense control throughout the year. So I appreciate all those efforts. We've made some choices here as to, things we, we can and can't do this year. I had some suggestions for, back half of the year and following years as to other areas where we can look at for enhanced efficiencies. But look forward to that process going on. But I just appreciate all the work that went into this and the time you spent in the discussion.
Thank you, Councilman Roman. Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you. I also want to thank our CFO. I too had extensive questions and asked for follow-up information, so I really appreciate it. I'm going to reserve some of my comments for adoption, but I share the council members' concerns about affordability. Certainly, when we went through the budget workshop, the total increase did not sit right with me. And so I appreciate that this has been lowered since then. However, we are making up for a lot of missed investment opportunities over years. So we still need to make sure that we are being prudent and investing in key departments that have been historically underfunded. But more to come as we get public input over the next 30 days. I do also want to applaud everyone in the organization for submitting this budget on time. This is not something that happens in other municipalities.
Like our neighbors.
And like some of our neighbors who seem to be struggling greatly with doing this process. And so I do appreciate how technically accurate we are with the process. So thank you.
Thank you. And as another note, I would remind the public that the municipal portion of the tax levy is what percent, Jen? Do you have the?
I don't have it in front of me.
20,
around 22%, somewhere in that range.
Which is slightly above the county portion of the tax levy. And the school district budget meeting and final presentation is tomorrow at 7:00. And you can watch on Zoom live or attend. And I encourage anybody who is interested in municipal finance to take a look at that meeting, as the school district will be presenting its own budget and discussing its cost drivers and concerns that it has, and what the budget will buy and what the budget will not. I think that's very important to understanding, since we are not the biggest portion of the municipal tax levy, or the total tax levy. Thank you, Ms. Mascara.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Holland,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath,
Yes.
Councilman Roman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy,
Yes. Mayor
Tamburro.
Yes.
Mayor, E1B resolution will be numbered 2026-070. It will be published on the township website, and copies will be available at no cost in the municipal clerk's office. Public hearing on this budget will be scheduled and held on April 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, Deputy Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. For Town Hall, we continue to have the professional cleaning of the Verona Police Department. That is about $1,600 a month. The bike lane at the community center, we confirmed the new striping with Boswell over the weekend. We will look to schedule the bike lane striping in the next few weeks. The final quote for any mold remediation was received this morning. We are going to look to schedule that with the least disruption in operations. The charging station has not been installed yet. We have to move a small piece of concrete. We are also going to be looking to apply for I believe it pays to plug in grant program, which would fund some additional charging stations throughout town. On staffing, not much has changed in the positions we are advertising for. The second pool manager offer of employment was accepted this morning. The rest of staffing for the pool is on pace to have a fully staffed pool for the summer. The part-time salary ordinance does have one slight change. In section 1, it states for a land use board. The position will actually be for any board, committee, or commission. It's not limited to a land use board. On insurance, Fairview will be meeting with administration to discuss several items, including more affordable health coverage options and the prescription renewal. For personnel, as the mayor mentioned, the building or the construction official is retiring. The current building subcode / assistant construction official will take that role, and we will not be filling the building subcode position. The new construction official will fill both roles. The buildings and grounds vacancy is expected at the end of the year. No determination has been made on who will be filling that role. And we are expecting a vacancy in streets and highways, and we have met with the superintendent of public works to create a succession plan there. In community services and the pool, registration is going well. There have been no comments on the new fees. I'll get to the pool later, but the membership purchases are going well. The Shade Tree Commission has met with administration about the Trees for Schools project, and we are requesting quotes to make sure we follow all public purchasing laws. And for new ordinances, the only one since the last meeting has been a request from the health department for a ordinance about the feeding of wildlife and animals on private and public property, as there have been a few complaints in the recent past. On pool membership, we are at approximately $380,000 in revenue. A total of $29,750 has been received in sponsorships. The graphs in my report show the week one with the 2026 would be the week ending, I believe, January 10th. The first week that registration was open in 2025 was week 13 of this year. The large increase in week 17 is the week including May 1st, where people rush to register before incurring a $50 late fee. We are on a good path. The revenue is increasing every week, and I believe Director Prisco sent an update. We picked up a few more memberships over the weekend, correct? And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the numbers as well. I'm wondering if you might be able to give us the pool numbers as actual numbers, like a little Excel thing. The graphs are
What, for pool?
Yeah, for the pool. Yeah, the graphs are nice, but if you just like the real numbers, like by category would be good. Just, where we were and where we were at this point last year. Just that I like to be able just to cite pool numbers. That's all. So if we can do that. Councilwoman McGrath.
So we're going to be talking about the part-time salary ordinance and new business, because I have a couple of questions about that. Okay, we'll do that then. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Quick question.
Yep. Deputy Mayor.
For Deputy Manager. In your report, we were talking about the community center, and we hired Solutions Architecture to give basically do an analysis of how many people we can put in there, the occupancy. Do they do two different analyses as if there's a game being played or an event being? Because obviously with the Lunar New Year, there was a lot of people in there. Are we allowed more occupancy then? Or you don't have, if we haven't got the report.
I have the report. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do believe there were two different occupancy counts depending on whether the bleachers were extended or not.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay. And then one last question. The community center, I know this is probably going back 6-8 months. We were talking about handicap access to the building because I was up there. Was the mayor walking in with me? Someone else was walking in with me and someone was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Going towards the door. And we still don't have those buttons on there to allow access. What's the holdup for that?
So those were funded with the CDBG grant for last calendar year. Due to the federal government shutdown last year, we didn't get the executed agreements until the January or February timeframe of this year.
Okay.
So they're significantly behind schedule on when they can get those agreements out. So we do have the agreements. We have proposals from them, from different vendors, but CDBG did say we need to wrap it up into a formal bid spec at this point.
Okay.
So it was largely hinged on that grant that we received.
So they're still in the works.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you. This time we will have our council member reports. Deputy Mayor, you're
Just continue.
back up.
I'll start with where we just left off with, because we had a rec committee meeting this week. And to answer your question, Mr. Mayor, pool memberships, this came up in the meeting and we're doing very well right now. In the past, people couldn't sign up till April 1st. So we're obviously way ahead of the number now, but looking forward to how April goes, and hopefully people will continue to sign up early, but it's going good. And we had an extensive discussion on the budget. So this can things and getting things done. So I thank them for all their time that they do. And also Ms. Prisco for her time that she puts into it all. Since I received 2 or 3 calls this week, let people know that every spring, especially after a winter like this, DPW does go around and fill potholes. So if you have one, you can call DPW, let them know, but I know they have a list of what they're going through. Just be patient because the plants don't start producing the asphalt until April 1st. So that's when they open up. So just be a couple more weeks and hopefully they'll be out there getting it done. I'd like to thank the Boy Scouts Troop 2 for their pancake breakfast last week. It went very well. It's always a nice event to attend and to support Troop 2 and see the couple of Eagle Scouts that did the project on the Peckman were there, and it was nice to have a conversation with them. And I believe that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thanks for mentioning the pancake breakfast. I forgot that in my report, but I was there as well. Councilman Roman.
I'll waive my report this evening.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you. The Neighborhood Traffic and Safety Committee had a meeting 2 weeks ago, which was a significant one. I went through with them all of our future developments that were recently approved due to our settlement with Fair Share Housing, and encourage their engagement on those projects as they come before the planning board. They are going to be reaching out to the township manager on that and several other projects that are ongoing, including Summit Road and Personet, with the new light and what the traffic may look like on Personet if we open it up fully 2-way, and will the council consider things like a 4-way stop on certain aspects of that road. So they should be coming your way if they haven't already, township manager. And they are a really engaged group and with new membership. And so I appreciate their activism. And I'm really excited for Sunday. It's the annual Women of Impact event at 3:00 at the Verona Community Center. There are several past honorees in the room tonight. So it's a great event. And there are some terrific women being honored on Sunday, many women who I consider friends of ours and those that have contributed so much to our community. So I encourage everyone to attend. It's a great panel discussion. It is on Sunday, and I'm sure it's part of Councilwoman Holland's report as well. But I had to give it a plug because it's one of my favorite events of the year. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Holland.
Thank you. I do really want to appreciate everybody for coming tonight and for having our girls basketball team here. I will note that March is Women's History Month, and so we are closing out the month with the Women of Impact panel that Councilwoman McGrath just referenced. That event will be honoring Virginia Citrano, Kate Kelly, Lisa Loudon, Mary Ellen McHugh, and Stephanie Rogers. So this is a very impactful bunch of women, and I am very much excited to hear them speak. The MIAC committee, which is one of the sponsors of this event, are meeting this Wednesday. So if you have interest in this event or any others, please, by all means, participate in that meeting. It is virtual. And so we'll be discussing both that event that's coming up this weekend, as well as some of our second quarter events, which include honoring Older Americans Month in May, as well as our June Pride celebration and Disability Pride in July. So those are just some of the topics that we'll be discussing on Wednesday evening. I also want to do a quick shout out for the HBW students. The high school recently had an excellent performance of Mamma Mia, and the middle school students will be having their Shrek performance this week as well. So there are 2 casts and there's multiple opportunities to see the students perform. And I'm always impressed at both our middle school and high school levels at the amazing production value that they do for school shows, because certainly in the 80s and 90s, that was not the experience we had. So these are much more impressive shows and definitely worth the watch. So if you haven't bought your ticket, please do so. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open for public comment on any matter any member of the public wishes to bring before the council. Madam Clerk, do you please read the public participation statement?
Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any matter, please raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button on your monitor. If you're dialing in by phone, press star 9. If you're attending in person, please raise your hand before being acknowledged and approach the lectern. Once recognized, clearly state only your name and township of residence for the record. You're not required to provide your street address. However, if you do, please note that these meetings will be posted on the township's YouTube channel, and addresses will not be redacted for any purpose. We have 4 minutes to address the council. There'll be no cross dialogue during this public portion, and after everyone wishing to speak has been heard, the council may address your comments and or questions.
Thank you. Mr. Shore?
Thank you very much, Town Council, Mayor, Administration. Just a couple of things. I just want to start with thanking the new Director of Community Services, Pam. She's been doing a great job. Basketball season, as we saw, was very good, but the amount of complaints about scheduling and activities and registration has gone way down since I've been on the committee for the last 3 years. So I just want to thank her for her service. Just a couple things on the pool. I'm a little bit more pessimistic about where we are with registration. I think it's very hard to tell about where we're going to be from April last year to April this year. We're still on family registration. We're still tending to be very low. So I think we really need to look at 2 things. Number 1 is intense marketing, social media. I heard postcards are going out, but I think that's a little late at this point. I think they should have gone out a little bit sooner. But I think if we push forward on marketing, I think that would help. I haven't seen anything about the marketing group that was supposed to take place for the pool yet. The second part of it is the drive-in revenue at the pool. A big thing about it was the miscellaneous revenue, and there is the parking lot. Well, at the parking lot, I don't think we have any ordinances or anything about fees that the council has passed yet. So at this point, I do not think that there's any revenue that could be driven from the parking lot in the pool. It'll be very difficult to do that in the spring, but maybe if something is passed in the near future, that can be used in the fall and generate revenue all year or when the pool is not open. I believe the recreational committee sent a letter based on that. Couple more things on the budget. I completely agree with Councilwoman McGrath on revenue. I said this when I saw it about 2-3 weeks ago. I think there are departments within Verona that we need to drive revenue, obviously not from taxes, but there are areas, rec is a good example of where revenue can be driven. There could be creative minds that do it, whether it's a working task force, whether it's a membership of the council, whether it's administration, putting together a group of minds over the next year for 2027 and saying, hey, we need to look at this budget and where are we going to drive those revenues. I think that's very, very important to shrink that gap and not to use some of your fund balance. The last thing for the rec budget, another segue towards what I was just saying was that I think some of the fees that we do in the slide and scale and the rec committee just passed or just sent a letter saying, hey, let's look at some of our low income Let's not rise some of the fees. Let's rise some of the fees so that this way we had 440,000 of revenue. We had about 1.2 million in expenses. Let's try to close that a little bit more. So this way that just in case on bad years, we're not using some surplus. We're not using surplus. We're driving our revenue as much as we can, get to 50-50, 60-40 the other way. I think that would be very, very smart for the rec department, but not only for that, for departments that can generate revenue going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, this time I close public comment. Mr. O'Sullivan, did you want to address the pool marketing thing? I saw something in your report on that.
Sure, Mayor. The pool marketing committee is scheduled to have our kickoff meeting March 31st. We will be meeting with the members of that subcommittee or of that committee to discuss marketing opportunities and to bring that entire committee up to speed on where we currently are with both memberships and revenues, and to brainstorm ideas on appropriate marketing approaches.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Sorrell's comment, I agree with a lot of what you said. I know I had a conversation with Mr. O'Sullivan, Mr. Krause about everything related to the budget, whether it was revenue generation or expense cutting and everything possible. So I appreciate that, and I could tell you, at least from my perspective, that's something that is important and was discussed. As far as the parking lot of the pool, Mr. O'Sullivan, is the parking lot actually part of the utility, the pool utility? Because the tennis courts, the pickleball courts and tennis courts are not. That's the general recreation.
Pickleball courts were funded through the general fund. The parking lot, I'd have to see how that original construction and the debt for it was structured. I'm not sure if it's officially the utility or exactly where the line is drawn.
Isn't some of it even county?
The side parking lot is county.
Yeah.
Right.
The one they added, yeah. But I believe the entire property was the property that was donated years ago.
So
So
just,
all be included.
I just don't know what falls under the utility or not, as far as, or if that revenue would even go to the pool or it would go into general funds. So that would be a helpful piece to look at. But from what I recall, I don't think it's part of the utility, but that's why I'm asking on that piece. But we'll add that onto the list. At this point, we are moving on to our consent agenda. We have one set of minutes, which was a separate attachment, and we have 10 resolutions. Does anybody need to pull anything from the resolutions?
Excuse me, point of order. Did we do the pest control, the ordinance?
Oh, sorry. Nope, just went right past that. Thank you, Councilman McGrath. Madam Clerk, the next item of the agenda is ordinance number 2026-12. On second reading, would you please read the title of this ordinance into the record?
Sorry. Establishing new chapter 382 of the Township Code entitled Pest Control upon demolition or moving of buildings.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will move the pest control ordinance because I believe so strongly in it. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilwoman McGrath, this time for public comment on this ordinance only. Same public comment statement applies. Pam, anything on pests? No? No? Okay. Just note for the record, Mrs. Briscoe did not want to comment on the pest control ordinance. I will close public comment. Is there any council discussion? Deputy Mayor.
Yes. Is this second reading?
Yes, it is, sir.
It is. I didn't see this on first reading or didn't catch this part, but I know because unfortunately with experience in the last couple of years, when they bait, they usually say that 2 weeks is not enough and they require a 30-day bait before they do any type of demolition. Is there any way we can change that now or is it too late?
You can change it now, but you go back to first reading.
We'd have to go
So
back
we can
to
amend
first
it now.
reading.
That next council meeting would be the final reading. So this would
Because I
determine
also,
first.
the other part of this I don't agree with is, or proof of such infestation does not exist, because there are a lot of times with vacant homes or vacant buildings that there's an infestation, but you don't know about it until you start to demo. I was actually thinking if we could remove that line and make it 30 days, because they do that period of time is just honestly not enough to eradicate any type of infestation on a piece of property. If we can get guidance from maybe our health, Bloomfield Health, they would probably say the same thing.
As an individual who's not an expert in this area, I will defer to the experts in this area, Mr. O'Sullivan.
So the recommendation did come from the Bloomfield Health Department. I think this largely reflects the ordinance as they have it drafted for the Township of Bloomfield. So this was their recommendation. That said, it doesn't mean that if the council is supportive of making that change, it's just a little bit more conservative on the requirement for demolition of projects. But again, this recommendation came directly from Bloomfield Health.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor, I'll just add, the reason why I brought this up now, I just realized, because obviously everybody knows there was demolition in the area near Everett Field, and that entire, I would say from the golf course and Sunset Avenue all the way to Linden, the health department was getting complaints of infestations after that demolition. I just think it's important that prior to, they give an ample amount of time to eradicate any problems. And I think it would only be a 2-week extension of this. And I think it should be changed to 30 days, but that's obviously just my opinion. But that's all. Thank you.
Okay. So did you want to make a motion to table the ordinance, or?
I would make a motion to table the ordinance and remove in section A, the first line, or proof that such infestation does not exist. I think with any demolition, it should be required. I know years ago they used to just make you do it to bait the property, and I think the time period should be 30 days instead of 14.
Do you want to make a motion to amend it?
I would like to make a motion to amend it if anybody would join me on that.
Okay. So your motion is to amend it as above, which would push it back to the first reading. Is there a second?
I'll second the deputy mayor's motion.
Okay. On the motion to amend the ordinance, is there any discussion? Councilwoman McGrath?
I mean, I would prefer we just pass this tonight and then it's in place, something's in place, and then maybe we could revisit it down the line, or I don't know. I mean, we talked about it in new business. We had first reading. So, I would rather we just had something in place now before spring construction begins. And so that there's some protection in place, and Bloomfield Health did review it. But I understand you have an expertise in this area, and obviously what happened with Everett Field was very upsetting.
Okay.
So, just putting it out there.
My thought with that, it would only be a 2-week extension of this, and I don't think there's any major construction that's going to start in the next 2 weeks or 2 weeks after our next meeting.
Isn't it a month?
Yeah, ask a
Well,
procedural.
2 weeks. Well, if this motion passes, it'll be 2 more weeks before the final reading.
Oh,
But you still have at least a month. You're correct, because you have a 20-day stop period.
Councilman Roman?
Just to clarify, so, Mr. Attorney, so this would be essentially reintroducing tonight with the amendments?
correct.
Okay, so we're turning this back into first reading right now.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
I apologize for not catching this at the last meeting.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my comment is I don't know the answer to this question, so I would love to just get another opinion, maybe from our construction code official, to look at this as well. I know Deputy Mayor McAvoy has extensive experience as a builder and inspector, so I would defer to him on this, like I know he would defer to me on certain issues. So I'm fine with amending this and getting some feedback back from the health department and the construction office. Madam Clerk, could you call a roll on the amended ordinance, please?
Was there a second on the amendment?
It was Deputy Councilman Roman.
Was it that for table? Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, that we turned the table motion into an amendment motion.
Okay. Councilwoman Holland.
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath.
Yes.
Councilman Roman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Yes.
Mayor Tamboro.
Yes.
Mayor Ordinance 2026-12 will be amended, and a public hearing will be held on April 6th.
Our public hearing would be on, oh yeah, I'm sorry, April 6th. I forgot what day we were in.
Still in budget now.
Yeah. All right, back to the consent agenda. Anybody need to pull anything from the consent agenda? Now, would somebody like to move the consent agenda?
So
I'll-
moved.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'll second the consent agenda. At this time, we'll have public comment on the consent agenda only. Same public comment statement applies. Hearing none, I close public comment. Any council discussion? I will just note that, sorry, Councilwoman McGrath, I saw your hand. I'll call on you and then I'll speak.
Oh, yes.
You're recognized.
Yes, thank you. I do just want to reiterate for the administration, I think it would be great for the governing body to be timely notified when emergency contracts are being entered into with an email. That would be great. I appreciate that we're memorializing them. It would just be good to know them as they are, when those events are happening. Thank you.
And that was my comment. So I second Councilwoman McGrath's comment and appreciate her speaking on my behalf. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Holland.
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath.
Yes.
Councilman Roman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Yes.
Mayor Tamboro.
Yes.
Mayor, L1 through L10 will be numbered 071 through and including 080.
All right. We do not have any licenses, addendums, or anything like that. So we're on to new and unfinished business. The first item would be discussion on the open burn restriction ordinance. Mr. Kraus, is this you? You're the fireman, so let's hear it.
Don't burn your trash. It's not allowed.
Good to know.
That's part of it.
It is kind of surprising that there's not a municipal ordinance on this already. So I'm pleased to hear this as well.
This was brought up by both the Verona Fire Department and Fire Prevention Bureau. It was, I believe it happens about 3 to 5 times per year where individuals burn items in their yard that are not supposed to be burned. Garbage, demolition materials, construction materials, leaves, plant life, rubbish. This is not intended to impact anyone's ability to have a recreational fire in their backyard, in a fire pit in an approved container, or any type of other recreational fire that's not just a big bonfire in the middle of your yard. There are, I believe we all know there's fire pits that are made for this purpose. It's not regulating that. This is strictly open burning of refuse, garbage, hazardous materials, plant life, things like that.
Thank you. I have one question on maybe a follow-up question going to section 262-21-3. So if we are imposing penalties through our general penalty clause in the township code, this go to our municipal court judge in North Caldwell to be heard.
That's correct.
But then the appellate authority seems to be the Essex County Construction Board of Appeals, which is not an appellate authority for a municipal judge. That would have to go to Superior Court or the appellate division. So that doesn't seem to match up. So I think we would just need to, if they're aggrieved on that.
We'll look at that. That's a great point. I actually didn't catch the fact that it talks about appeals in here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we could probably just
More
eliminate
likely
that part.
to take appeals out.
Yeah, just take the,
Because then it would go to, like you said, we just
correct. It would have to go to Superior Court. Yeah. So, Councilman Roman?
No, 'cause it's-
Yes, on the
it's being-
language regarding fire pits, basically, the provisions here will not apply to recreational fires in approved containers with a stack or chimney. Is that intended to be the exception for like a backyard fire pit? Because looking at those are typically open vessels
Yep.
that don't have a chimney on them.
It's exactly my same question.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have
Councilman
stacks.
Holland, if you could just be recognized, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I just I'm Google's image searching these here, and yes, there are outdoor fireplaces that have a chimney, but an outdoor fire pit typically is just an open vessel. And then I'll also note a scrivener's error in there. The last word "and" there should actually be "any" if we were to pass this language anyway in section D3 of open burning. So
It's a very hot ordinance here. So any other comments? Councilman Holland?
Councilwoman. And I had that exact same concern because the way it is written is very limiting with regard to the recreational fire pits because they don't typically have those stacks and chimneys. So I don't know if it's worthwhile to just strike that from both the definition as well as subpart D3 but that would be my recommendation because if you just took that if you took that out of both the definition and out of D3, then I think by saying it does not apply to recreational fires in approved containers that are not burning and items prohibited above, like the items prohibited above, I believe that's the Scrivener's error. I think that would actually cure the issue because, yeah, you are inadvertently going to swoop in like everybody's small fire pit in their backyard with this. And if that's not the intention, which I don't expect that it is, then I think we do need to correct this before introduction.
I will make the amendment. I'll also check with fire prevention on their opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, with the requested changes, does anybody have a opposition to having this on first reading at the April 6th meeting?
Just one more quick question.
Sorry, Councilman Roman.
Approved containers, are these typically UL listed devices, or I don't know, approved by who? Approved by the Verona Fire Department?
Yeah, that would be
another question to
a
pass
good
along.
point. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where maybe that would be a definition of approved container.
Yep.
We might want to define what an approved container is. Okay.
Sorry for disrupting your call for approval on the ordinance.
No, it's you had a point. All right. So with these, might be helpful to get this maybe a little bit more in advance of the meeting, rather than with the packet, just because there's so many requested changes. If we can do that a little earlier. Thank you. All right. And moving on to 1B, which is the part-time salary ordinance. And Mr. Krause, you said this was for any board, committee, commission, secretary. This is a pretty wide range. Do you want to just get into the?
So this title is being added for this specific position. It's going to be assisting Sustainable Verona with administrative tasks and marketing. The individual completing the task has a great deal of experience in assisting boards and committees. But it can be used for any board or committee. The range does not mean that someone is going to receive $50. It just means that it would be up to any salary offered to or any hourly rate offered to an individual is going to be reviewed by administration prior to any employee action form being completed.
Okay. So could you read what the title of this ordinance will actually be and what the sections are, because it's conflicting in a couple different places here.
Oh, I made it plural, that's why. Because I thought we were having it.
It should read fixing the hourly compensation. The title of the ordinance is correct with employees of the Township of Verona. The specific title position under civil service is an unclassified position, secretary, board / commission.
Okay. So could we change the title of the ordinance to fixing the hourly compensation of certain part-time employees? Because
yes.
Okay. Just to clarify that. And then there would be a change in that area as well. I mean, my wondering is perhaps we would want to widen the range actually to have a lower starting salary if it's still a range. I find it a little odd to start at $30 an hour when we might have a need in the future to have somebody support a committee that may, like somebody to like run Zoom or something for a committee that doesn't need $30 an hour and then we're coming back. So maybe have a pretty wide from like minimum wage to $50 an hour, and the administration can set what that is as per their right as the administration. But it would seem to, when we're looking at this, I'm always hesitant to create an ordinance for one individual, right? To have a range for one specific person, obviously, unless it's like somebody like we're doing a contract, like the manager's contract. But in circumstance, let's give ourselves the flexibility, and because I don't want people to think, okay, you come in and you're anybody supporting a board or commission and you start at $30 an hour or whatever. So we have that. Councilwoman McGrath.
Yeah, thank you. So the actual way this is like laid out doesn't actually say hourly salary anywhere in this chart. It just says salary minimum of $30, right? So it doesn't say hourly anywhere unless I'm missing this.
If I may, Mayor.
Well, section 1, it actually starts with the hourly compensation for part-time.
Oh, okay. I see.
But
so
you're right. To make it clear, it usually says per hour.
Yeah.
After the numbers.
Okay. The other question I have is, does this conflict? So we have a stipend for the rent board secretary. Is this going to create a conflict with that stipend? Or because again, if we're broadening the definition,
she's the rent board administrator, not secretary. So it is a different position.
Well, I guess then my broader question is whether or not this have we made sure we thought through all of that this is not going to create a conflict somewhere else is my question. With any other stipend positions.
I'm not aware of any stipend positions that it would create a conflict with, because I don't believe we have any. We don't have anyone else serving in this title.
Okay, so this is a unique title.
This is a unique title. So as the council hasn't previously approved the use of this title, we have not been able to use it. So at this point, there's still no one serving in the role in this title.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
I was wondering if you could just describe what these administrative tasks for the state of Verona will be.
I have a breakdown from them. I don't have it memorized at this point, but I know that they are doing things, helping with meetings, organizing items for both PSENG residential and commercial grants, administrative tasks related to those grants, and assisting the board with general work. I think some of the tasks also cover marketing, and all of this individual employee's work is covered through those grants. So there is no impact on the municipal budget for this position.
That was my next question. To be in a position where I don't want to open a can of worms where committees now have, hourly staff, everybody will be requesting hourly staff. So, so that's helpful. If it's grant covered, then it's fine. But I think, it still stands. There's a little room to tighten this up or widen it depending on what it is. So I look forward to seeing that at the next meeting. And once again, this might be one that it would be helpful to have some of this well in advance of the next meeting, if we can, versus in the packet. And moving on to the amending chapter 55 of the Township Code. This is amending the planning board and the zoning board components. I believe the planning board one was because our rotation of the vote was in conflict with the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Act. So that's why that is being put in. Our current code says that the alternates rotate when they vote, but the MLUL says that it is always alternate number 1 first and then alternate number 2 and so on. Is that proper?
That's correct.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we should be a little more specific on, because as you just said, there's confusion as to who votes. And we have here, in the absence or disqualification of any regular member, I think we should put quotations members with an S and plural. Alternate number 1 and or number 2 shall vote, and add something to the effect of the order to which they vote, because there was others talk about, well, if alternate number 1 votes for 1, then it goes to alternate number 2 for the next. That's I just think I want to.
That's what's being stricken. That rotation piece is being stricken.
Got it. But they don't mention number 2
2
in here, and I just want to make sure it doesn't, in 5 years from now, people don't go back to it and say, okay, no, it's number 1 and then number 2.
Yeah, I think it would be fair to note. I agree that if there are
Some
2
clarity.
absences, then alternate number 2 would also vote. If alternate number 1 is absent, alternate number 2 would vote. And it's all outlined in the MLUL, but part of the problem is people don't always look at both of those things. So might as well have our code be a little more specific in that area. I tend to agree on that.
We can do that.
Any other
And then
comments?
another question.
Are you on planning or zoning?
Zoning now.
Okay, so I was going to
Sorry,
ask
we'll-
if there are any comments on
any
zoning.
plan-
So go ahead.
Okay. On zoning, we're adding 2 more alternates. Is there a reason for that? Is this a state change code or?
So the recommendation, it was that from the Board of Adjustment that a 3rd alternate be added. The MLUL allows for a 3rd alternate on the Board of Adjustment. It allows for up to 4 alternates, actually. The request and recommendation from the Board of Adjustment was to add a 3rd alternate for the purposes of allowing business to proceed a little bit more consistently. There has not been instances with specific individuals being absent, but as one individual rotates in an absence over the course of several meetings in a row, it could sometimes create issues where votes and availability to vote for meetings, hearings that last more than a single meeting become difficult. The other issue is that as our Board of Adjustment has been an active board over the past year, 2 years, they are currently booking several months out for applications. In instances, they are trying to schedule special meetings, but based on availability of the board as it exists today, that becomes challenging. So they did request an additional alternate for both of those reasons.
But we're adding 2 alternates. Guys, an even amount.
But we don't have to. Yeah.
So with that said, I'm going to go back to a conversation a year or 2 years ago. Can we get an update on attendance? If that's an issue, then we should review members of the board to make sure that everybody's showing up at least a reasonable amount of time.
Well, I think that the manager pointed out wasn't certain individuals not coming. It was that rotating need. I would be okay with extending this to 3 alternates. I don't think we need 4, and it says may appoint, which means we could only appoint 1 or we could appoint 2. I'd rather just be like, if we need, I appreciate the board's feedback on this because it is important. The board is doing a lot at the moment with variances. So I would say let's look at 3, but I would not want to extend it necessarily to 4 at this point, just because it's more people to manage and schedule and all of that.
I can, we can make those amendments, and I can also follow up with the attendance records for the board.
And then Mayor?
Yes.
Just so you know, on the zoning one, I just saw, because we reviewed this on Wednesdays, that they missed the voting will change on this also, because it's required under the law that the voting goes in the number of their number, where our ordinance says that the chair chooses.
So we will address that in the next with the revision.
That'll be the next version.
Any problem introducing this with those amendments at the next meeting?
Not at all.
Okay, so it'll be done. Any other new business?
No.
Thank you. And at this time, I'll pop up a comment on any matter any member of the public wishes to bring forth to the council. Same public comment statement applies. Seeing no public comment, I close public comment. We will be going to executive session. Thank you for being here tonight, all of our members of the public. And if any of you want to cheer us on our way out of executive session, you're welcome to wait in the lobby. Thank you very much.